is Drifter, and in tonight's video, we're going to be reading the final part of the FutureMe series. Before I start, I just want to say a huge thank you and just appreciation for all the love and support that you all have been showing me. It means the world. Thank you so much to all of you. But without further ado, FutureMe, final part. I heard mechanical whirs and levers grinding. The surface beneath me shifted, lifting me to an upright seated position. With the blinding lights out of my way, I could see more of a chamber beyond the strip of metal that obscured my vision. The space was small and bare, like an unfinished basement. A staircase appeared beyond a concrete boundary into an unknown world above. "Can you feel this?" Alanis asked from behind me. I tried shaking my head, but it was still secured in place by the metal contraption. A thick cable connected a vitals monitor at my side to a small black box at the end of the far chamber. The scent of chemicals stung my nose and windpipe. "No, I can't feel anything," I choked out, my words flimsy on my tongue. What I really wanted to do was to scream my heart out, to wail and howl until my voice box went numb from damage. I wanted to thrash my arms and legs, to spit in the woman's face, to claw my way free. I didn't, though. Not with that scalpel so close to my temple. There one moment, gone the next. Alanis was starting the procedure. Something tickled the right side of my head, like most people. I have been to a dentist and have experienced the mercies of local anesthesia. It didn't make the sensation of someone slicing my head open any less horrifying. My empty stomach turned, my lungs contracted out of rhythm, like I had forgotten how to breathe. Try not to move your facial muscles so much, Colin. This next part's tricky. I heard metal clinking in a tray. I felt Alani's wedge her fingers up against my skull as she lifted the flap of skin over my head. Then came a noise so dreadful, my entire body stiffened. "I'm going to use the cranial drill to access your parietal lobe." Alani spoke as a matter of fact, as though this was the most natural thing in the world. "Now, don't worry, the antirepressors won't affect your sensory abilities. The solution will spread through all the brain tissue, but will only affect the temporal lobe where your memories are stored." Silent tears streamed down my face, my lips trembling like ripples in the water. I cannot quite put into words how awful it felt to hear someone drilling into my skull. Even without the pain, there was something ungodly about it. I can understand subjecting myself to this torture in order to cling on to life, but I hadn't been dying. The drilling ceased as Alanis put the surgical tool back on the tray. I heard a pop, then a shuffle. "I'm warming up the solution, Colin dear. Can't inject it straight from the freezer." I suppose only minutes passed, but they dragged their feet along like soldiers marching towards death. My mind envisioned a large syringe with a metal pipe of a needle. In truth, I couldn't see anything, only the blurry silver of the gauge on my head. "Injecting the antirepressor solution," Alanis announced. "You may feel some spasms. Please talk to me while we do this so I can determine whether your speech has been impaired." "What happened in the fire?" I asked. My arms and legs twitched involuntarily. as a cover for your memory loss and my supposed death," she said, pulling a tiny flashlight from somewhere and shining it at the pupils of my eyes. It had to be realistic, and as you can see, I suffered some permanent damage. "Why did we need to do that?" Alanis went back to her position behind me, her voice floating down from above my head. "You will remember all soon, dear. Do not fuss." I heard a sickening crunch, a squish. Then I felt Alanis pull my skin back over my skull. "Did we really need to do those things to the people in the photographs?" Alanis hesitated, growing quiet. I felt her presence, though she didn't make a sound as she lingered in the corner of the room. After at least a minute, she resumed her shuffling, picking something up from the tray. I imagined she would be stitching me up at this point. "It's so complicated, Colin. Neither of us meant for any of it to happen. In the end, this was our only escape. But please, there is no sense in talking about it now. The memories will flood in at any moment. The antirepressor is instant. You will know everything within minutes." I let her finish the procedure. My arms and legs relaxed and my heart stopped racing. I heard the rhythmic beeps, the vital signs, monitor ease into tempo. The worst was over, it seemed. No memories came, however. Half an hour later, Alanis had successfully bandaged me up and removed all restraint from my body and head. I straightened up, awkwardly fixing the thin hospital gown that was riding a little higher than it should. My alleged wife sat at my side on the gurney, her small hips hardly taking up any space. I looked at her, my eyes shamelessly devouring the scar damage on her face, neck, and hand. It broke my heart that I had any part in doing that. I did not feel anything apart from pity and remorse, however. The strange woman was looking at me with saucer eyes, slight tears welling in hope. She was expecting a reunion. She had been waiting for 5 years. There was pure love written on her face, but I could not feel the same. I did not know her. Not really. "Well," she urged. "I don't remember anything," I said, shaking my head slightly. I paused, testing my luck with the next question. "Can I leave?" "What?" Alani stood up. Tears spilled from her eyes, sliding down the ridges of scar tissue. There must be a mistake. "No," I heard myself say, voice calm, steady. For the first time in days, I felt certain about my feelings and intentions. "I have been through more than enough. Please let me go." There was a slight tug of nostalgia as Alani's expression cycled through disbelief, dismay, and anger. These emotions were familiar in the context of her face, but I didn't care. I didn't want to know them, or her. "No," she said, getting up to walk back over to the table of surgical equipment. "It's just taking longer than expected." She plunged a needle into my neck before I could react. I tried to push her off, to get up from the gurney, maybe run upstairs, but the effects of the sedative were instantaneous. I fell back against the seat that had so recently imprisoned me. The world faded to black. There was not much to say for the next few days following my brain surgery. I stayed in the bare basement brought me food and drink from some place above ground. She cleaned my waste bucket. She even offered to sponge bathe me, but I didn't feel comfortable with that, no matter how much the stink of my own skin repulsed me. Every day started with a patient Alanis. Her optimism, saccharine, sweet, she bobbed about my concrete prison, ranting about a journal article on memory restoration or notes for my research, assuring me over and over that everything was going to be okay. Any moment now, I would miraculously remember a life I never knew existed. Sometimes she would tell me about her life before, how we met while she was in her residency, a young neurosurgeon in the making. I was older, a professor of chemistry at one of the leading medical programs in our country, or so she had thought. After we started dating, she learned that I was actually working closely with government agencies on a variety of classified projects. I rarely said anything during her rants. I watched her face, the crinkles that formed at her eyes when she remembered a past I no longer partook in. Sometimes she'd take off her headscarf and I would stare at the tufts of hair that had barely grown back through the scar tissue on her scalp. I never doubted her past beauty. It was easy to see beneath the damage. In some ways it was even more compelling, visceral. I listened with an air of detachment, feeling strangely hollow, disinterested, maybe. She had told me a lot about things like our wedding and honeymoon, the friends we used to have, the house at Ashbury Lane. What I couldn't stop thinking about were the people who had suffered in those photos, the memories of the green-eyed cannibal. I wanted to take her by the shoulders, shake her, ask her about the awful things we had done. It wasn't easy, though. Alanis didn't want to have those conversations. She wanted me to remember for myself, but I couldn't. At the end of every day, I would ask her to let me leave. These requests of mine were splotches of gray on her colorful reminiscences. I could tell that she didn't like the version of herself that kept me captive, but she claimed she couldn't let me go. It wasn't safe. There were people looking for me. By evening, she would grow agitated. Her frustrations mostly internalized, but sometimes she would snap at me, ask me why I had done this, if there was no other way. About a week in, I started getting sick. It was mild at first, headache and dizziness. Some mucus built up. Within a day, I couldn't eat or form coherent sentences. I was slipping in and out of consciousness, always feverish, in pain. That when she brought me this laptop, it was supposed to be a distraction, a bit of fun. This morning, the final email came. The following is an email from the past, composed on April 28th, 2016. It is being delivered from the past through FutureMe.org. Dear Future Colin, if you are reading this, then everything has gone according to plan and you are currently dying. The chemical injected into your brain 10 days ago was not a memory reversal solution as Alanis believes. Bless her heart, if we could have spent our lives inventing the cure to Alzheimer's, don't you think we would have chosen that path 1,000,000 times over? What our dearly beloved actually administered was the lesser volatile strain of the green dust concentrate. We always had to die, Colin. I hope you understand that. I knew at the moment we finally perfected the green dust stimulant. With me gone, the interested parties who funded our research could no longer achieve their goals of creating the ultimate you gone, Alanis will finally be free from their grasp. Do not worry. I have her set up with plenty of money and a safe retreat. There is no reason for them to go looking for her when your corpse is uncovered. It won't take them much longer to figure out the secret tunnels beneath the pond at Ashbury Lane. Now, you might hate me for this, and I'm sure what I'm doing is quite inhumane. If you are still alive to read this, it means you went on to live a whole new life with false memories and no recollection of ever being a chemist. In a way, I am killing a completely different person, but it had to happen this way. Any earlier and they would have been watching us too closely. If I hadn't killed our true memories, we would have never been able to leave Alanis behind. You will slip into a peaceful slumber within the next 24 hours and never wake up. In a way, it is just. You will die an innocent man, just like all the innocent men, women, and children that died as a result of our unethical human weapon research. So here I am, Reddit. My fingers are barely functional at this point, and the screen keeps looping in and out of my vision. I know the email said 24 hours, but I'm not sure I can stay awake for another 10 minutes. Alanis is at my side. She hasn't stopped crying since I let her see the last email. She can't understand how past me would do all this. Leave her alone. Sometimes she screams things at me. Other times she cries to kiss me, but I can't really respond in any satisfying way. I feel limp and fleeting, dead as a fish in the water. That was the final part of the FutureMe series. I really hope you enjoyed. It was a very good story. Again, all the links of every part will be in the descriptions of each video. Thank you so much for taking some time to spend with me listening to this story. I hope you have an amazing day or night, and that you found this video to be relaxing or help you sleep in any way. If it did, I would greatly appreciate it if you would even just consider subscribing or dropping a like on this video to let me know that you do appreciate it. With that being said, remember,